welcome back to this channel. Today we're going to be watching a video called You Are the Problem with Arknights Endfield Dodge, and this is the follow-up video to the Toboro video, to Toboruo video from last time. We watched this last week, and the basic takeaway was two things. Number one, we're basically hoping for a little more into the elitist take direction of it should not try to appeal to mainstream gacha audiences too much, that keyword. And the other one is we also do not want to gatekeep people from trying the game out. It still has to be accessible. So we're trying to find that good middle ground, right? I don't want to see any strawmans being like, oh, elitists want to gatekeep Endfield from most gacha players, or the other hand of let's totally gatekeep people, and we're fine with making low revenue if it's just to keep being a niche. I'm more in the camp of being a bit of both, being a little bit of a balance of both. It's a little delicate, and everyone has different ideas of what the balance is. So that's why we're having all these discussions. And this video was the reason why I wanted to watch that video previously. So, wow, it's been 2 weeks now. Okay. So regarding Dodge, I've seen some very fun ideas in the comment section of my last video reacting to this. Someone talked about making Dodge specific to different classes, which sounds like a novel idea, but execution-wise, it's gonna be... Oh, it's really up to Hypergriff to see if they can do that, but the idea is interesting. I'm more of the... I do enjoy the idea of having no dodge, or except for maybe one class, but I don't trust Hypergriff to balance like that, so... just completely removing dodge. I agreed with that last video. I agreed with the idea of removing the dodge entirely. And yes, it's going to not appeal. It's no longer going to appeal to players with the dodging. It's not going to appeal to players who want to have dodging gameplay, like perfect dodges and maybe perfect parries. But that's the game establishing its identity. There are so many action games out there that don't have a parry. I mean, but we're not talking about a parry. We're talking about a dodge. I mean, there's so many games out there that are combat-based, like 3D, top-down kind of style, but combat-based. Again, like I brought up MMOs. They don't have dodges. You just kind of click around the screen and... use your ability rotations and whatnot, which is a little different from controlling it with WASD and clicking your mouse to attack, but it still it shows that it is possible to design combat encounters without the need to dodge. And okay, I'm yapping a bit here before we start the video, but bottom line is I want them to not just get rid of the dodge, but to add better defensive mechanics to balance it out. Better defense options, better counter options perhaps, and maybe occasionally a dodge, but don't make it too powerful. But make that like character specific or class specific. I think class specific works the best. But yeah, that's my 2 cents about it. If that already turned you off, then yeah, I don't know. We're just gonna watch this video.
The power of language comes from rules and restraints, not from arbitrary imagination. Only by imposing constraints upon yourself can you make progress in the incantation
Just
arts.
grabbing a Logos voice line.
3 months ago, I dropped a nuclear bomb on the Arknights Endfield community titled The Death Knell of Gacha Games, in which I decried their homogenization in the name of appealing to the masses, complete with deranged yelling at said masses.
Don't
lie to me!
Yeah.
While everyone understands the need for gacha games to make money,
That's
the vast
hilarious.
majority of people agree the combat is far too disconnected from the base, that Genshin-like homogeneity would be a disaster, and that hypergriff need to be true to their roots. However, the universal divide was the call to remove the dodge.
Yeah,
Some
I can
agreed
see
with
it being
removing
controversial.
Some said just make it more strategic, some said remove the iframes, some said tie it to a factory item, and this guy decided I'm gay. But after being posted to Bilibili, it then spread further into other forums and became so divisive that some of those forums started arguing about the dodge button, whether the game should lean more into strategy or action, to the point where one content creator even made a response video because those arguments were getting
Oh
out of
my
hand.
god.
So, having briefly divided the community into warring factions, I will now attempt to do it again.
Well, I mean, I'm glad
I
that
will now explain why the dodge button
we-
is a mistake beyond
we
simply
managed to
pointing a
spark
finger
such
at those who want
discussion.
to keep it.
I'm sure
In order
this
to do that,
feedback
we
is
first need to
valuable
look at
for
how
the
a few of the
devs.
criticisms of combat in the technical test were addressed in the beta. Not all of them, just the relevant ones. This will be brief. The most common complaint was the slow pace and long downtime, which was addressed by what is essentially a total rework of the combat loop. Two of the most noticeable changes are the bullet time targeting being removed in favor of a lock-on system, and healing items being used automatically.
I
with
really
per
like the-
operator
the-
cooldowns
the
instead
bullet
of
time
having to bring
thing.
up a sub-menu to choose who to heal.
Oh well.
Previously, it was only limited by one operator at a time getting the heal with one cooldown for the squad, but now that it's automatic per operator, there's a limited number of charges on it while in battle. Perhaps the most important change, though, is the way skills work. That is, instead of each skill having an individual cooldown with the set number
I like
of
the
uses
idea of the
required to
healing
charge
being
your ultimate,
automatic.
skills now
It's
have
pretty
no
cool.
cooldowns at all and instead use a shared bar of SP, and you have to decide which character gets to use the SP you have. There is also the addition of combo skills, and being able to trigger each operator's combo skill is the key to building good teams and the easiest way to get a general idea
I do
of
like
how
the combo
someone is meant to
skills,
be
but
used.
they need
Plus,
to
there
be
was the issue of guaranteed attacks, which was addressed in
less
the dodge
boring like in the
button. Combine all
future,
these changes and the pacing of
because
combat
it might be
feels much
too
faster.
easy.
Right, now, where can we see how players felt about the...
Oh right, yeah,
Oh.
these.
Players were clearly happy with some changes, considering all the praise and comparing it to the tech test, but nonetheless they were still not satisfied with the dodge, and they were not satisfied with the rate of SP generation. But unfortunately, much as they might insist otherwise, these complaints about dodges and SP are misguided, because dodging is not the root cause of the issue. It is virtually impossible to discuss dodging in video games without someone at some point bringing up Dark Souls, and
Oh
endless
my god,
comparisons to
yep.
Souls-likes can get rather tiring.
Here
but
we
in
go.
our case, we have good reason to. Lowlight, the creator of Arknights himself, is known to be a
Oh.
huge fan of Elden Ring, and he has already confirmed the existence of references to it in
Ooh,
Endfield.
that's fun.
So let's examine the role of dodging in Endfield by first seeing what we can learn from Elden Ring.
I haven't finished Elden Ring.
From Software are known for their enemy and boss designs for a reason. Enemies hit hard and you are expected to die repeatedly. The game provides you with several ways to mitigate that damage. Armor and shields are abundant, vigor increases your HP, etc. However, the ultimate form of damage mitigation would of course be total invincibility, and oh look, how convenient. Dodge rolls provide an
Iframes.
accessible
Oh, we
and
love
limited supply
that.
of short windows of invincibility known as iframes.
I mean, the fun
However,
fact
there
about
are two
Margit
important things
is
to
that you
remember
can
here.
beat him without rolling.
Firstly, attacking and dodging both
You just
consume
walk
a set
around
amount
him.
of stamina.
Literally walk.
You must spend the
You won't
same
get hit.
resource both to deal and avoid damage. And secondly, in essence, you cannot cancel the animations for either of them, leaving you vulnerable for their duration. As a result, you need to restrain yourself from dodging or attacking impulsively because
Yeah,
game
the
is designed
strategy
from the ground
comes
up
from
to
not
punish
spamming
you for doing
inputs.
so. Delayed attacks and frame traps teach you to dodge sparingly and with
Yep.
intention, and one of the key challenges presented by the fast pacing of endgame bosses is pushing the limits of your stamina management. The result is a flow state where every action is a carefully considered commitment. If you were able to cancel attacking and dodging animations, that commitment would disappear and the game's skill expression would become a matter of optimizing those animation cancels. That might be okay in other games when the creators intend it, but a fundamental part of Elden Ring's identity is not just difficulty, but
Yep.
discipline. And without the risk and reward created
Souls-like
by
in
the commitment of
general
your actions, that
teaches you
identity
discipline.
would be compromised.
Don't button
Which is
mash.
precisely because the game presents you with
And
such
even in fighting
challenges that
games,
you are rewarded with those moments of unbridled
Like in low-level
ecstasy
play,
in
you can
overcoming them.
see people spamming working, but when you get higher and higher in terms of the ranks and fight veterans, you realize that spam just doesn't work anymore because they know how to take advantage of
Now let's
when you're
compare
stuck
what we've
in
learned from Elden
animation.
Ring with combat in Arknights
you know.
Endfield.
Yeah.
While the goal of an attack in Elden Ring is purely to deal damage, in Endfield some of the first things the game teaches you in the tutorials are that your basic attacks deal very little damage compared to skills, skill points regenerate very slowly, and the last hit in your basic attack sequence, the final strike,
Yep, so you want to
will
commit
restore
to a final
SP.
strike
The
so
game
that you
is
can
telling us
restore
that
SP so that you can use your
purposefully
ability.
regenerates slowly because it's your job as the player to obtain
And
more
then
of it. In other words,
our
basic
job
attacks
is to
are not
come
meant purely
for-
dealing damage, they are primarily a step in the process
Yeah.
of dealing damage. You use basic
It's
attacks
that
to get
discipline
SP for
of,
final
like,
strike, which
and
you then use to cast a skill,
strategy
which does
to find
considerably
out
more
when
damage, which then
you
triggers a string of
can-
combo skills. You get the picture.
You can do that final
Several
strike.
combo skills are also triggered by a final strike, which is why you don't get SP from each individual normal attack, because it would make those combo skills very inefficient compared to those that aren't. Now, if you only have 1 bar of SP and you use it on a random skill that doesn't enable any combos or elemental inflictions, you'll then be left without much to do besides going
So you
and getting
need
more SP.
A few more.
Consider also the example of Aviwena. Her combo skill and her ultimate will place thunderbolts in the ground, and then with her battle skill, she retrieves those thunderbolts, dealing electric damage to everything in their path. But if you just use the
Fun.
skill aimlessly, all she does is a little jump and spin, which totally wastes the SP. Furthermore, consider the technical test's bullet time targeting, where every single skill cast forced you to make a decision because it was a 2-step process of selecting a skill and deciding a direction. You can see the pattern in what both versions of the game are asking of you. Endfield is trying to discourage carelessness while encouraging discipline
Yep.
and intent.
I can
And you
agree
can
with
see
that.
design goal throughout the game. The limit on the number of zipline towers you can have in a given region is meant to
Yep, be
encourage
smart
you to be
about where you
intentional
place
with
your
where
stuff.
you place them instead of just
Be smart
spamming them
about
everywhere.
when you do
Even
final
the
strike.
gacha system discourages you from just
Yep,
randomly
be
pulling for
smart
no
about
reason.
which banner you're pulling on. It
Recall
just
how
asks,
Elden Ring
it's just
punishes the player for pressing
discipline
buttons
the
impulsively.
game.
Using the same resource both to deal and avoid damage,
But
and
it's hard to see
animations being
discipline in
uncancelable,
gacha
work
communities
together to
because
set a deliberate
everyone's
pace.
sort of trigger
But
happy,
Enfield's design
aka
contradicts
building
itself.
pity.
It wants you to be disciplined and intentional while simultaneously allowing you to just dodge at will.
Ah,
Notice
okay, I
how
see
the
what he's talking
resources
about
for
now.
dealing and avoiding damage are separated. In order to get the resource for dealing damage, SP, you need to get a final strike. Doing so often means you will need to take damage. There is a good reason one of the main purposes of the factory is to produce healing items,
Yeah.
and also that the main stat on every single piece of gear is defense, which in Endfield means final damage reduction. Meanwhile, your resource for avoiding damage is stamina. Dodging will consume 1 bar of stamina, and the game starts you off with 2. But once you've collected all the Aetherium, that increases to 6, and at that point you don't even need to think of it as a resource anymore because in practice you just never
6
run
is
out
a
of
lot.
stamina to dodge. Which consequently means players do not have any expectation of restraint with the dodge button, nor of being willing to take damage. And in addition to that, every single attack and skill animation will be cancelled by dodging. The sole exception is Gilberta's Gravity Well, which is the only battle skill in the game that is in effect over a fixed duration as opposed to a single instance of damage or an instantly applied buff. All of this combined tells us that Enfield's dodge exists in direct contradiction to the discipline and intentionality the game is trying to encourage. It may well be possible to adjust it to complement their intended design goal, but if you are a beta tester who looked at the feedback section, you will have seen that in reality, the vast majority of players were asking for the opposite. More iframes, more SP, more rewarding, and so on and so forth. The astute
Interesting.
observers among you might have figured out where this is going, but bear with me here because remember, dodging is not the root cause of the issue. To take a very brief detour and give necessary context for an example I'm about to use, in November, Arknights tried an experimental co-op
Oh
game mode.
shit, Icebreaker
Unfortunately,
games.
it took place a couple of weeks after the release of Wishadel, who was given the
Oh.
most ridiculous kit Hypogryph have ever made.
Bro, people
Fans of Wishadel were naturally going to be inclined to use their shiny new
People
win
started
button, and so
trolling
most of my
and
co-op
just
games consisted of my teammates
sabotaging
deploying her,
Wishadels,
killing everything in
but
sight,
just deploying
leaving
Ark.
absolutely nothing for me to do but sit on my ass and wait for it to be over because leaving early would put me on a matchmaking cooldown. To put it in other words, I had no agency. My teammates' use of Wishadel was preventing
Yeah,
me from
do
taking
not
any
bring
action,
Wishadel
and
to
it was
co-op, man.
absolutely
Don't do
fucking
that.
miserable. So I decided to take matters into my own hands. Ark is an operator.
Yeah,
who deals a
oh
fixed
my
amount of
god,
physical damage to an
he
allied
did
unit
it.
in return for a hefty buff, but Wishadel doesn't have enough defense to tank it. So I brought him
Wait
to
a
every
second.
game and immediately.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Compelled, would anyone please care to tell why 50 fucking people in a row
I've
bring
seen
Wishadel?
this!
The point of co-op mode, if zero
This
of you
is
seem to know
him!
the meaning of the co-part of the word, I will explode. Do none of you feel guilty taking any sense of fun away from everybody else you pair with who's just trying to
Okay,
play the game
I
without
thought it was
resorting
like,
to this
huh.
boring cockroach
Yeah,
gameplay?
there was
Look at
someone
this
who just
fucking
brought an
bullshit, I
Ark
just
every
want to
time
play
someone
the
brought a
game.
Weasel.
Does that
It turns out, yeah, no, it was him. I've seen this guy before.
Blast all the bad guys away. Stop playing with only one
If
hand,
you've
my brother.
never
You
seen
must
this video,
understand
I
that we
implore you
enjoy
to check
things
this
only.
video out. He sings through this whole thing, and it's absolutely marvelous. Oh, it's so good. Okay, okay. I see. I understand now where his opinions come from. No wonder. No wonder he's very adamant about the Enfield dodge things because it carries a similar sentiment to why would you fucking use Weesadel in co-op? Weesadel is an accessibility option, but you have a whole ass another player with you in co-op. You do not need Weesadel. And it also means that the other player can't do anything. What's the point? Weesadel is like a single player win button, not a co-op win button. The only person who's winning is you, not the co-op partner. Okay. All right.
Immediately team killed every Wishadel I came across so that I could actually enjoy playing the co-op mode
It's so
together
funny.
with my teammates. So numerous were my Arc team kills that I decided to have a bit of fun with it by writing a song.
I'm taking matters into my own hands. This is my villain arc. If none of you will let me play the game, I'll keep deploying arc behind your dear beloved waifu Wishadel before I cast
Bars.
flavored stimpack resolutely up her ass.
Plenty of people were delighted with my mischievous musical merriment, including some Wishadel users themselves, as opposed to the Arknights subreddit, which banned me for 4 entire months. But while I will freely admit that yes, I was being a little bit insensitive,
Okay, yes,
there were
but
some comments on both the video
it's also
and the Reddit
funny.
post which elucidated a common point of view among those who were offended by it. Nearly all of them said something along the lines of, what if I don't care about the event? What if I want to just get the rewards and be done with it? It didn't matter to them that this was a cooperative game mode,
this
and
is
no
co-op.
matter how clearly it was explained to them that their use of Wishadel was preventing me from
Like, again,
using
you
anyone, it
want
just
to get it
fell
done
on
with,
deaf ears.
but I
They
want to
didn't
have
even enjoy
fun.
the game, they just wanted the rewards that came after it, with zero consideration of how
This
their
isn't a
actions might
single
affect
player
their teammates'
mode,
experience.
guys.
Now think about some of the complaints from the beta for a moment. Remember all those seemingly random requests for open world mechanics like wall climbing and grappling hooks and stuff? They must be aware that a major part of the game is relaying power and building their own zip
Oh, I
lines, right?
see.
The
So is
inspiration from
he
Death Stranding should be pretty obvious.
is he implying
You
that
get to choose
these
where the
people
zip
don't
lines
actually
go,
want to
but
play a
you have to
game?
set
They
them
just
up
want to get the
yourself.
rewards and get
You
it done
can't just
with,
have
like a
them
lot of
without
gacha
building them.
games.
But all those requests for random open world
Like gacha games tend to just become daily chores that you have to do for most of the time, and then occasionally there's a cool event that comes up or story continuation. But most of the time you are just doing chores and just keeping up, just maintaining upkeep of the game and your account for a while, really, and just farming and farming and farming and pulling and pulling and pulling. And yeah, it is true that gacha games do fall into this trap if the game itself isn't a game. Like, there's a difference, for example, between um a gacha game that isn't really a game and you can tell it's definitely a backdrop for the gacha or the IP. Usually these might be games that are from an established IP, and they clearly made like a cash grab game, and it's like, hey, look, guys, it's John Persona and player game. It's exactly like Persona, and then you play it, and it's like, this is basically Timu Persona, and then when you get to the end game, you start to realize, this is gonna get old really fast. Like, this is gonna get old like in 2 months, and it's kind of, I mean, that's more of a high quality example. There are a lot of mobile only gacha games that are definitely more on the side of, this is not gameplay. But they're really stingy with the pulls and the pity as well. But they just expect me to not play a game. They expect me to complete tasks off of a checklist every day and every week, and then use the rewards I got from the checklist and stuff from my wallet to pull in the new characters. Versus something like Arknights in question, where it's just a game to begin with. Like, there's gacha, but the game itself is really damn enjoyable. You got your regular tower defense stage mode, right, with all the story modes and all that. Really challenging stuff sometimes. All of the events are archived, so you can read through and play through all of the side stories and main chapter interludes and whatnot. You can go play a fucking roguelite mode that has that updates every 6 months with a new theme, basically. And it's just, and then they also have a fucking survival game mode that most people don't play because it's even nerdier than tower defense. It's still a game, and I can still have a lot of fun playing the game without interacting with the gacha. These kinds of games are the best gacha games. Games where it's still a game, and the gacha is like, yeah, there's also gacha, by the way. Like Limbus Company, it's a game, and then, oh yeah, there's gacha. You know? There's a difference between those kinds of games and the, yeah, this is a gacha game, and oh, by the way, there's gameplay. You know? Endfield is definitely a game first, and then, oh, right, there's supposed to be gacha. But a lot of players eventually get tired. They get tired of doing the chores every day. I mean, regardless of whether the game is good or not. Genshin, like all the Hoyoverse games, even Wuthering Waves, right? On in the downtime, without interesting events or cool stories to do, you are just kind of logging in, and you're only logging in not because you wanted to play specifically, but you just wanted to get the reward so you don't miss out. You just felt obligated to log in so you don't miss your streak. You don't miss some slight rewards. They're small, but they build up over time. You're expected to be consistent with it. So even in quote unquote good games, good gacha games, there's still that issue of you feel that fear of missing out. So you feel obligated to just log in and play and get the rewards. And sometimes this happens with events where an event comes out, it's meant to be this big thing where you play it like a game, but then you still have to farm it for the event duration. And eventually you just feel like, nah, I just want to get rewards. I don't have time. I'm playing another game. I feel lazy. I want to do something else. I'm busy with life. And then, oh, okay, I'll just skip the story. There's a skip button. Oh, okay, this gameplay is really easy. I'll just use the meta unit so I can just get all the rewards fast. And then before you realize it, you're no longer playing the game. You're skipping the story. You're using the most effective tactics available in order to finish the gameplay faster. And maybe sometimes you put out your own money because you want to accelerate your progression, whether it is buying materials from the battle pass or buying premium currency to roll. You wanted to accelerate that. You're like, no, I just want this now. I don't have time to read the story. I want to get through this quest now and get the rewards. I don't have time to play this event. I'll just finish this up as quickly as possible and get the rewards. I don't have time to save up everything, so I'll just speed it up with my money. And eventually, what exactly is it are you playing? At that point, the fun that you're getting is rolling for the characters. You've become a gacha addict. There will always be times in your life where you are busy and you can't play. But when you're no longer busy, or when it's a weekend or you have your off time, you still feel like, oh, okay, I want to play this game because I actually like playing the game. But then you have to be careful because some players, or sometimes even you, might fall into that trap of no longer caring about the game. You don't care about the game anymore. You just want to get that new character. Basically, to wrap this up, some people end up just playing to get their dopamine fix. Claim rewards. Claim all. Claim rewards. Claim rewards. Claim rewards. Level up materials. Weapon materials. Ascension materials. EXP. Bond points. Pull currency. Tickets. That's what you care about. If you do a story quest and then you find that there aren't rewards at the end, are you going to be disappointed? If you played part of the game, you fought some enemies, you solved some puzzles, you're like, wow, that was fun, and then there were no rewards at the end, how upset would you be? If you find yourself so upset to the point where you felt like, what's the point of doing this if I didn't get the rewards, and you didn't find it fun to begin with, then something is wrong. Obviously, for the sake of that example, of course, I'd even feel disappointed if I went through all of that and I didn't get anything, but that's because it's in the context of the game. I'm expected rewards. Like, I expect rewards when I do anything. It's a gacha game. You get rewards for doing anything and everything. So when I do a thing and I don't get rewards, I'd be like, huh, okay, that's weird. I expected something here. But I wouldn't be so upset about it if I liked the game. I'd be like, oh, okay, well, I still enjoyed that. You know, I care about something more than just the rewards. But if you're at that point where you're thinking, okay, in this hypothetical situation, if you got no rewards, you feel like you wouldn't have done all of that anyway, no matter what, then there might be a problem. You know what I mean? Like that, does that make sense? I don't know. I'm literally just running my mouth right here. I'm so sorry. Let me just get back to the video.
Shit exist because whether you realize it or not, you're asking for exactly that. You want what the ziplines provide without the responsibility of building them yourself. Importing mechanics like grappling hooks and wall running and flying or whatever simply wouldn't work. The game is fundamentally not designed like that. It would completely trivialize every single terrain obstacle, and you'd then be left wondering why the world feels so much smaller. Because that constraint is not an oversight or a shortcoming, it is deliberate. Looking back to those earlier complaints from the beta about SP and dodging, if you're performing final strikes, getting SP is very simple, or you can just use Arknights to make it easier. But the player is insisting on dodging even when the game is punishing them for doing so carelessly. And instead of making that connection and deciding not to dodge, they are just asking for more SP and easier dodges.
Okay, yeah, that is very interesting. Because the way I got it was, yeah, it actually punishes you for dodging. I mean, it's in a sense of, it's nice to help you. If you're starting off the game, you're not going to be good at it. And so you're probably going to be struggling in the combat. And you maybe want to start dodging to preserve your health and reposition to strategize and go in again. But the better you get at the game, you'll stop dodging in favor of just finding better windows of opportunities to strike. For example, in a Souls game, when you start off with, you're going to go in and you're probably going to start dodging a ton, and you're still going to lose your health and get hit and all this, right? But it's a learning process. You get to learn the attack patterns, you get to get used to the feel of the game, the controls, and eventually you'll get to a point where your dodging is a lot more strategic. And then you realize, okay, I can weave in attacks between my dodges. Cool. And then eventually you get a lot better at the game, and you start to realize that half of the dodges you've been doing have been unnecessary. And you have missed like 5 different attack windows by dodging. And so you realize, like, okay, if I position myself differently, or if I, you go for a different attack angle, if I do this, if I do that, if I stagger the boss, eventually I'll find ways to deal more offensive damage while dodging less. You know what I mean? So for this, it's like, sure, the dodge, it's nice when you're starting out. Then eventually you'll get to a point where you'll start dodging a lot more efficiently, and you can weave in your attacks between the dodges. And then eventually after that, you'll start to realize that you're losing damage by dodging so often. So you get rid of half your dodges in favor of just face tanking the hit to deal more damage. You find your synergies to heal. You craft your materials to heal, because by that point you'd have more materials. You're no longer just a beginner at the game. So you have more stuff to heal, and eventually you start to dodge less, and you start face tanking more hits instead. Of course, there's still moments where you want to dodge just to preserve your health a little bit, but as your skill level increases, you're probably going to rely on the dodge less. For example, I was talking about last video, Genshin, Spiral Abyss, right? People who play endgame a lot, they will not dodge for no reason. They'll do it for animation canceling, for example. But if you look at footage and content of new Genshin players, you'll find that they dodge a lot more often. That they won't realize that they're not in danger. And so they'll dodge thinking that they'll lose health if they don't. And sometimes they are in danger and they dodge, but they dodge so inefficiently that they still get hit anyway. But eventually they'll start to learn, okay, I don't need to dodge here, I just need to attack. And then when they start attacking me, I'll dodge. Then they'll get into a better rhythm of things. And then there's that third stage of being like, okay, wait a minute. I don't even have to dodge this time. I can just go for it. I can just go for it, kill them before they finish their attack animation, and they'll die and I didn't have to dodge, for example. So it's that idea of getting to that third stage where you realize that there are so many more optimal ways to play the game. The dodge is still there, but you don't actually need it as often. But what happens in Endfield is that the CBT only lasts for so long, nobody's going to get to that veteran standpoint. At most, they'll get to mid-game. They will never understand whether or not you really needed the dodges in the long term, right? So it's very interesting that when the game punishes you for dodging by making it so that you don't get your hits in, you don't get your SP. And they're like, hey, you have to final strike so that you can get SP. Yes, that means you might have to get hit. But if you are better at the game, you will find better opportunities to hit, and you won't lose that health, and you'll safely get off a final strike, you'll get that SP, and you can snowball that. But because these guys are new, and they don't understand how to play the game as well, that means they will see that they will obviously try and dodge more in the early game, realize that they're still getting hit, think that the dodge needs more work. They'll also realize that when they keep dodging to survive, sure, they're not getting hit, but they're also not getting SP. They're like, oh, well, I suggest getting SP when you perfect dodge, for example. It completely misses the point, but you can understand why they would think that, right? It's just this misunderstanding of what the game was supposed to be, what it was telling you, versus what it ended up communicating and what you interpreted from it. So I don't blame these people for thinking this way, but once you realize this, I think it's reasonable to change your mind, right? Right.
You may have noticed a pattern here. At first, the root of the problem appears to be that gacha players do not want their actions to matter. Except, that's not actually the full picture. Plenty of gacha gamers are perfectly willing to accept those design goals in other games. It's not as if they're all just unteachable and refuse to take responsibility for their actions in every part of life. But it seems to be near universal when they're
It's the
playing
expectations
gacha
of what
games.
gacha games
And
are
that is
supposed to
where
be.
the real root of the problem lies. Gacha gamers have been taught their actions won't matter, and therefore, gacha gamers have come to expect their actions will not matter. The complaints from beta testers all stem
Operant
from this root
conditioning,
cause.
guys.
Dodging when it's a bad move led to consequences, but your expectations are that dodging is never the wrong move.
By the way, if you guys didn't know, just quick lesson. Operant conditioning is essentially the idea that you can reward people for positive behaviors and punish people for negative behaviors. So if you want someone to, I'm losing the word. For example, in games, if you want players to react positively to seeing a treasure chest, you will make it so that when they interact with the treasure chest, they will get good stuff. So put rewards in the chest. So the next time they see a chest, they'll be like, oh, a chest, it's going to give me good stuff. Let me go get it. And then on the other hand, you can punish them for behaviors that you don't want. Like, hey, try not to fall off cliffs. Try to follow the paths that we made for you. So what they'll do is if you jump off a tall ledge, you will lose health. Or if you jump off a ledge tall enough, you'll die. And that teaches players, don't jump off the ledges. Don't jump off the ledges and follow the path. You can totally swap this, by the way, under the same theory. If you make it so that treasure chests give you a debuff every time you open it and nothing in return, versus every time you jump off a ledge, you get money, or you just don't die. That just not dying is also technically positive / neutral. You'll make it so that players will never want to open a treasure chest, and they will always want to jump off a ledge. So it can be any way you want, but the idea is in video games, this matters. So what Toboruo is talking about here is in gacha games, it's often taught that the amount of skill expression you can have is limited. The game will always just give you the builds that the characters need so that, you know, every character can be released as its one thing, and then eventually they can release a different character that does a similar thing to this character, but slightly different. In a non-gacha game, perhaps they might have just combined the two. This one character would have had 2 or 3 builds that you could possibly play with, and you can swap it at any time. But in a gacha game, in order to keep releasing characters long term, you would split that character up into 3 instead, that all do those different things, but as a result, each character will just be one note. But okay, that's slightly unrelated to the topic. So what Toboro is saying here is dodging, like the subs here says that dodging is never the wrong move. Yeah, in a game like Zenless Zone Zero, for example, dodging is very fast. And especially character on screen right now, Miyabi, her dodge is busted. It's insane dodge, and you don't get consequences for it. Every time you dodge, it's just objectively the best thing to do instead of face tanking it. Especially in Zenless Zone Zero, where the end game, enemies just hit you really hard. So you really want to parry every single time, and you always want to dodge. You should not face tank. But that's not the case in Endfield. But gacha games, they don't realize that it's different.
Pulling impulsively is always a bad decision, but because the rate of guarantee carries over in MiHoYo games, your expectations are that doing so doesn't usually make a difference.
Yeah.
Setting up your own zip lines is a major part of the game, and not setting them up means you'll be walking everywhere, but your expectations are that of already having a plethora of locations to teleport to and of being able to fly around at will. Arknights Enfield's dodge button currently means deciding whether or not to dodge matters, but we saw earlier that players do not have any expectation of restraint because the stamina basically never runs out and the dodge lacks commitment. The commitment in the example of Elden Ring means you're punished for acting carelessly, and Elden Ring is known for that. Discipline is expected. Gacha games, on the other hand, are the opposite. They are
God forbid a gacha game wants to have consequences for
when
dodging.
They introduce a consequence to something players aren't used to facing consequences for, it subverts their expectations.
Yeah, gacha games tend to be
The problem
homogenous.
with gacha gamers is not a problem of commitment.
That's why the
problem is that
expectations of
instead
players are
reevaluating
very
what their
different when going into
expectations
it.
are, they simply ask for the game to better match their expectations
Yeah.
by removing those
But I think the
consequences.
better thing to do is
With
instead of
Elden
cave
Ring,
into
we saw
that,
restraints on your agency create risk and
make
reward,
something
but
new.
when my co-op
Let's
team
spice up the
represented me
gacha
contributing,
genre,
we
man.
saw that zero agency just creates frustration. The problem with the technical test was not the lack of a dodge, the problem was the lack of any agency in reacting to those attacks. Dodging is not the only solution to that lack of agency, but it is a popular one, which is why there were so many calls to implement it. But now with the beta, the problem is that dodging exists in contradiction to the discipline and intent they want to encourage. There are various solutions you could try to make the dodge actually complement the combat system, like basic attacks slowly reducing your stamina and only recharging it once you stop attacking.
Ooh, that's
but that
interesting.
wouldn't solve the issue because dodging would still interrupt your basic attack
Yeah, it
sequence, so
would.
you'd still need to take damage to get SP, so gacha players would still complain. And if dodging didn't reset the sequence, combat would simply be reduced to a matter of optimizing animation cancels and memorizing optimal rotations, and the game's identity is compromised. The call to remove the dodge is not a call to bring back the guaranteed attack to the technical test, it is a call to change what that agency looks like.
Okay,
It doesn't
I
need
see
to
your
be
point.
a reflexive dodge or parry button. Removing the dodge is an immediate way to force the player to reevaluate their expectations from the very start. Because if the controls and inputs do not let you dodge impulsively, then you have to reconsider how you're going to mitigate damage, which forces you to appropriately adjust your expectations.
As I said, make
of the
defense units or counter units stronger.
That response video from Billy I mentioned at the start of the video makes a very good point
Or at
related
least
to
make
this
it more
problem of
obvious that they're
expectations.
meant to
在
be
我看来
used.
啊，相比于优化闪避的呼声，要求蓝图的声音可能还要更大。
Blueprints
这些人可不会在要求蓝图的言论中拿那几个游戏给自己套盾。抄作业比起亲力亲为的闪避，才是最快捷、迅速删除掉一个玩法乐趣的东西吧？那为什么有那么多人对
I
蓝
see
图抄作业有需求？就是因为许多人他就是抱着吃快餐的心态去玩 gacha 的。
He's absolutely right in saying that blueprints would be an atrocious idea, and if they'd been present in the beta, the Death Knell video would be sunshine and rainbows compared to the Doom posting I'd be doing in that timeline. But what I think his point of view misses is the fact that with Arknights, Hypergriff have been consistently reluctant to add any features that could be considered as the game playing itself or making decisions for you. It has never once had an autoplay button. You have to choose where to deploy your operators and when
Also,
to activate
autoplay
their
for this
skills
game would be a
yourself,
nightmare to
and
implement.
Only then do you get to auto-deploy. Likewise, in Endfield, their way of addressing the complaints about the factory was not to add blueprints,
to add
instead
tutorials.
to add loads of tutorials.
They're
and a
like,
more
nope,
intuitive top-down
we want
interface.
this in
The core design
without
philosophy of
blueprints.
do-it-yourself remains
We're just gonna
as
give
clear,
you more
which is why
options
I
to
don't
learn.
think pre-made blueprints will be added anytime soon, let alone the ability to copy them from other players.
I think
But
they might
nonetheless,
come
he is
eventually.
right. Those demands for blueprints
Yeah.
will grow louder
don't
and
know.
louder because gacha players only want to eat fast food. The meal without the responsibility of cooking it.
I don't want
And
Endfield
build
to
on the
be a
analogy
fast food
further,
game.
Fast food might be convenient.
We already
and tasty,
have
but
enough
if
of
you
that.
grow accustomed to it, serious health implications aside.
Like if I wanted to
cooking
play a
your own
fast food
food
game,
will
I'll play a
start to feel
fast
like a
food
chore.
game.
Hypergriff have said they consider the infrastructure and automation to be the focus of the game, explicitly citing games like Factorio and Dice the Sphere program as successful examples. But those games have an innate filter in having an upfront cost.
Yep.
Free-to-play gacha games do not have that barrier
This
to
is-
entry, and they are
this is
surrounded
why
by this
this might be
bizarre culture
most
of
people's
people playing
introduction to
multiple games they may
factory
not even
sims,
like
factory building
playing,
stuff.
while simultaneously demanding those games make it easier for them to maintain their account.
I mean, that also might be part
In
of why the
my years of
expectations is
playing
misaligned.
Arknights, I have seen what Hypergriff can
RA,
cook. They
my
are
beloved.
not afraid to experiment, but it would be
I'm just gonna say, I'm one of the insane people who finished Reclamation Algorithm. I haven't finished up to all 10 like stages of the shop rewards, but I did finish all the story stuff. I did finish the campaign. I actually really like the mode.
delusional to say they have never faltered before. If the game wants gacha players to enjoy the base,
Pinch
they
Out
need
was-
to change their expectations of the game, and they will not do that unless the game forces them to. If anyone is capable of squaring this circle of sticking to their guns while maintaining mass appeal, it is Hypergriff. But accessibility must not undermine identity.
Good point. We should
Arknights
put that on a
Endfield
shirt.
advertises itself as a real-time 3D RPG with strategic elements, and in China as a 3D real-time strategy RPG. Personally, I just think the gameplay should lean more into that. After the technical test, I hoped it would be slow, calculated, and stubborn, but Hypergriff made it fast, impulsive, and forgiving. That doesn't mean I think games with dodging are bad.
Yeah, obviously.
But I have seen other communities become jaded, only able to sit and watch the obliviating drift of their beloved games towards an audience that has never cared. I have watched longtime fans of Monster Hunter resent the direction of Monster Hunter Wilds, ditching the necessity of positioning, anticipation, and commitment in favor of hitting a piñata that barely fights
Oh, no
back,
wonder.
removing so
Yeah, because I never played a Monster Hunter game, and I did try a demo of like Sunbreak before because it was free, and I don't know, I just didn't enjoy much of it, especially watching people play like Wilds and all the newer ones, because it just felt like it didn't look fun. It just looked like you're slapping a stat stick for like what feels like forever. It for me, right? I don't clearly it's a beloved game with many people who enjoy it, but I don't know if I would enjoy it because the feedback from fighting these monsters don't look like they really impact me. The kind of feedback I get from hitting the enemy and doing all these combos and just barely seeing the health bar move just isn't my type of experience that I want.
many of those decisions and just going straight to the outcome because gamers don't understand why that decision was there in the first place. I have watched so many Endfield alpha and beta testers openly demonstrate they have precisely zero understanding of why some features and mechanics simply wouldn't work in
what's
Endfield,
new, right?
only able to draw upon experiences from some combination of Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, Zenless Zone Zero, Wuthering Waves, end of list. Openly stating they have no interest in the Arknights IP whatsoever and just want yet another iteration of the same game while
we've seen
consistently
this.
pretending to care about the game's success. You might have heard a quote attributed to one of the lead designers of the Civ series that gamers will optimize the fun out of a game if given the option to, even if it ruins their experience of the
That this is why you need to. This sounds a little patronizing, but it's true. You do need to protect the players from themselves. Also, the section's called Crash Out. I've heard of this. Okay, but yeah, you need to make it so that players are protected from their own bad decisions. That's basically half the job of making a game, especially in a live service game. It's doubly important to the health of the game. If you find that your game is easily optimized the hell out of, then either run with it as your intended direction or put in safeguards to stop that from happening or to hinder that from happening, because players will just do it. They will find the most optimal strategy available and just game the fun out of the game. And then eventually they'll complain that the game is no longer fun because they gamed all the fun out of the game. And then they'll turn to the developers to be like, hey, the game's not fun anymore. Make it more fun. And the devs are like, I mean, we were trying, but then you found every way to make it not fun. We're kind of not sure what to do now. So, sometimes it ends up like that, but yeah, it's not entirely the gamer's faults. They're playing the game. We're rats. Okay, players are rats and will enjoy optimizing games and just finding every little bug and exploit to benefit them. And it's just a game of whether the devs want that to happen, leave it be, or to patch that out and be like, hey, no, that's illegal. It's just a back and forth between players and developers. But yes, this is a famous quote.
Game. But no other subculture of video games, not a single one, will not only ask for that option before the game is even out, but openly ask for the literal backbone of the game to be removed just because they don't personally like it. Do you open Balatro and complain about deck building? Do you open Portal and complain about solving puzzles? If you complain that modern games don't try anything new, then shame them for doing so while rewarding the opposite. I hate to break this to you, but you are the problem. And if you start playing Arknights Endfield and you complain about the infrastructure and the factory, the very things that make it Arknights Endfield, that applies to you. Just make everything Genshin Impact! Big game always means better game! I'm not seeing enough movement!
Holy shit!
More shit on the screen!
Oh my god, he's crashing the fuck out!
More stupid bullshit! What is this depth you speak of? Or farming's the only
Oh
gameplay
my
that
god!
matters. Just make my waifu look cool when I press
Oh
E
no,
Q
he's
and
cooking
take my
them.
money. Look at how cool the animation is! Time to build pity! Let's go gambling! Please win? No save! Only win! What do you mean building pity isn't a thing? All my friends build pity, obviously it's a thing, you fucking idiot! What is this Factorio shit? I don't have that kind of autism. I have the kind with no self-awareness or social skills
The Goon
whatsoever.
Game,
Wow,
no!
chat, look!
Boobs.
Absolute cinema! Take all my money!
No,
What do you
that's
mean
true,
they slightly
though.
reduced Nicole's boob size? What do you mean I can't see
Oh my god,
Canterbury's
this is
skeleton
actually the
anymore?
most,
This
like,
is preposterous.
incel
The
thing I've
Chinese
ever
Communist
seen.
Party won't let me masturbate. Video
The-
game
the
what the fuck is one of those? Just make it easier to maintain my account so I can continue to not play
Wait,
the
I gotta
games
rewatch
built
this
my
section.
entire personality around. Gacha games should do nothing but compete for my attention by replacing every UI element with Subway Surfers and Family Guy funny moments.
Tina,
because
the
my
horse is
childhood
here.
Cognitive development died the moment my parents decided to raise me with a fucking iPad. Sorry about the attention span. Take 3 big booms to make it feel better. Don't even give me a gacha game. Just give me a virtual baby playmat instead. Where I can hit
Oh
random
my
objects
god.
while shitting my pants
Chill
and
out.
crying about anniversary rewards. Because if I'm totally honest with myself, that's all I really
Not
want.
the anniversary
Not a handcrafted
rewards.
experience by passionate game designers or a fun challenge to overcome. I just want a distraction. Something to keep me occupied so I don't accidentally start contemplating my meaningless existence on this godforsaken earth. Now just take one moment to seriously ask yourself, who is more deranged here? Me for crashing out in a YouTube video for your entertainment, or you for logging into 50 billion gacha games every fucking day that you don't even like playing, while having the audacity to demand every single one of those games respects your time when you don't even respect your own?
Oh!
You want Arknights Endfield to be filled with people who don't even want to play Arknights Endfield!
Hold on. Oh my god, we need to get back to this part. Wait, okay, let's break this down one by one. I have a lot of... he mentioned a lot of things that I really want to talk about. Oh my goodness, this was actually insane. We talked about this. Okay.
Openly ask for the literal backbone of the game to be removed just because they don't personally like it. Do you open Balatro and complain about deck building? Do you open Portal and complain about...
Yeah, so about this, it's like gacha gamers have been so used to the fact that a lot of gacha games are just copies of each other that they've genuinely forgotten that video games are supposed to be different from each other. Video games they have different genres and they do different things and they're for different people. Importantly, okay, let me say that. Okay, let me say this out loud for those in the back. Video game demographics mean that different video games, appeal to different people. Sure, the gacha aspect of the gacha video games, will appeal to gacha players. But all the gacha games have different genres. And every genre has their own subsection of fans. A puzzle gacha game is more concerned about the puzzle fans and gacha fans. An action gacha game is more concerned about gacha fans and action fans. A turn-based gacha game is concerned about gacha fans and turn-based fans. So a factory building game, gacha game, appeals to gacha players and factory building players. I've seen so many people say, oh, I'm worried about the appeal of the game. How is it meant to appeal to as many people as possible? No. You have been tainted by lies. Games are not supposed to be appealing to every possible player. That's not what games are supposed to do. Every game is going to have their own psychographics of what type of players they want to attract. And it's a very specific type of player, or multiple different kinds of players, but they're very, very specific. Games are not supposed to appeal to as many people as possible. If you think that a game's success is going to be hindered because it's a little too niche, no, don't think like that. I mean, yeah, sure, it might have less success purely because it's a niche genre, but if they didn't want that niche success and they wanted a bigger success, they would have just made Fortnite.
Arknights Endfield, and you complain about
I love how he's just getting more and more unhinged.
Arknights Endfield, that applies to you. Just make everything Genshin Impact. Big game always means better game. I'm not seeing enough movement. Put more shit on the screen. More big numbers, more random colors, more stupid bullshit. What is this depth you speak of? Aura farming's the only game.
Yeah, aura farming's the only gameplay that matters. It's kind of real though. Just make my waifu look cool when I press E and Q and take my money. Yeah, unfortunately, this is a mindset of some people. Literally, it's like, well, I don't really care what the gameplay is. I just really like the character. And that's fine. I do that too. But it does prove a point to the developers that you can make a shitty kit, but as long as the character looks cool, it's like, I want that character. This is slightly unrelated though.
Cool when I press E and Q and take my money. Look at how cool the animation is. Time to build pity. Let's go gambling. Please win. No save. Only win.
Okay, the pity thing is really, really fucked up though, because yeah, there isn't such thing as building pity. The idea of building pity is literally, this is a banner that I am not saving for. I'm saving for a future banner. Likely the next one. but I am pulling on this banner instead of the banner I actually want because I want to increase the pity count before the next banner. Now, this is stupid for many reasons. Mostly the fact that you already do that when you roll the other banner. If you roll on the banner you actually want, you are building pity on that banner. You rolling on this banner means that with every roll that you do, you're getting a chance that you're going to get the character you don't want, thereby ruining your pity for the banner you actually want. The only reason why you would ever roll on the current banner to quote-unquote build pity for the banner you actually want eventually is you have a gambling problem and you don't like seeing the gacha fund number grow bigger and bigger, and you really just want to press the button. You really want to press the roll button because you can't bear looking at that number growing bigger and bigger and realizing that, ooh, I could pull right now. I want to pull right now. You know, and then you're gambling on the chance that you don't get the character. You're gambling that you don't get the rate up on this banner so that you can get the rate up on the next banner because you just couldn't hold your horses. Ooh, I just building pity, bro. Oh no, I got the character I didn't want because I rolled pity in the banner that I wasn't supposed to roll on. Congratulations, you have an addiction. Building pity is not a thing, guys. I know people do it. I also think it's dumb. Like if you do that, just admit that you have a gambling problem. Okay, that's fine. I understand. Don't try and justify it by saying it's a thing, you know, like I want to risk it all and possibly shoot myself in the foot because I just can't wait 2 more weeks. I don't know.
What do you mean building pity isn't a thing? All my friends build pity, obviously it's a thing, you fucking idiot. What is this Factorio shit? I don't have that kind of autism. I have the kind with no self-awareness or social skills whatsoever. Wow, chat, look, boobs, absolute cinema, take all my money.
I want to say that I don't understand why they put so much fan service into the designs when sometimes the fan service most of the time, gacha designs are ruined by the fan service. I'd say that 90% of the time, the extra jiggle physics, the extra exposed skin, the extra fetish points, like showing the outline of a belly button on a skin-tight suit when you don't normally you wouldn't normally have seen it normally, but since you're doing a stylistic choice, you're like, ooh, you can see the outline of the belly. Stuff that, you know, it's just fan service tends to ruin the design, for me at least. Sometimes they do it tastefully, but it's really rare, and it depends from developer to developer. And I always thought, why do they keep doing this? Is it really making money? I don't feel compelled to pull for that. I really like characters that just look really cool with cool drip. If they have cool outfits on, I would definitely pull for them over someone with no clothes on, because why would I want that? They don't look cool. They'll be a porn character in a non-porn game. Why would I do that? Dude, I'd go on Nutaku if I wanted to play porn games. You know, like, don't bring the porn to me. I'll go to the porn if I want it, you know? Like, I never understood that, but the money does speak for itself. People actually do think like this. They'll see a character and they'll go, boobs! Oh, chat. I gotta get this character. I'll E6 this character. Oh my god, look at that pose. Oh my god. Really? Really? You have all this disposable cash and this is what you do with it? You're entitled to, you know, your own money. You can spend it however you like, but that doesn't mean that I won't be disappointed.
What do you mean they slightly reduced Nicole's boob size? What do you mean?
Dude, this is actually the most like incel shit I've ever seen. When people were genuinely upset that they reduced Nicole's boob size before Zenless came out, I was so shocked because I actually preferred this size. Because the other one just looked like, why is this so like sexual? Like, is this a sexual game? Like, is this a porn game? Like, what? And then you play ZZZ and it's not. It's basically gacha Persona, you know, a little bit. Okay, that I've never played Persona. I'm gonna like make so many people mad with that. I'm sorry. Okay, but the idea is, you're so upset that the character's boob size was reduced. Good way to kill hype for a game. Like, this guy is genuine. This guy is actually upset. Why? I bet these are the same kinds of people who be like, you know, if you don't make your character sexy, then no one will want to play your game, and we just go play other games instead. We just go play Wuthering Waves. We just go play all those other games. Yeah, good luck succeeding. Yeah, good luck with that. I'm entitled. I think you need me to succeed. I think you need my money to succeed. And if you want my money, you need to make the characters hot so I can goon. Because I'm incapable of developing any sort of attraction to a person unless they show me titties. It's like, it's so bizarre.
What do you mean I can't see Cantarella's Caulto anymore?
I consider this unethical. Okay, ooh. Man, that's saucy. No, if I put this on my screen, I'm gonna get fucking... So, YouTube's gonna kill me. I invite everyone to give feedback on this. The Cantarella model has undergone a change after the character was released in the gacha. I consider this unethical, and while it may be trivial to some, it sets a precedent. If you are unironically arguing that removing a character's visible camel toe ruins the experience for you, I'm genuinely just asking, like, why are you trying to goon it? Like, is porn not enough for you? Like, I'm sure, look, hypersexual people exist, but this is not a porn game. Characters are allowed to look sexy in a non-porn game, yeah. But you're arguing to see bigger boobs. You're arguing to see camel toes. You're arguing, like, people got mad that they couldn't see up characters' skirts anymore in Genshin when they started censoring the character when you looked up at them, like from below the camera. Does that not clock you as like being like, you're the weird one? Like, you are being weird. The developers aren't the ones being weird. They're being normal. You are being weird. Am I shaming people for this? Yes. Yes, I am. Hot take. Cold take. I don't know. My take. I mean, my bias is that I just tend not to be titillated by things like that. Like, I just don't feel that. So I have this as a bias of just like, look, Cantarella looks alright. Like, this design is okay. I wouldn't pull for this, but yeah, people would. I can see how it's pretty and appealing. But God, you're meant to look at that. You're meant to look at the undergarments. You're meant to look at the panties. And because it was initially designed with the camel toe, you were probably meant to look at the camel toe. Oh, career games. Oh, career games.
Cantarella's Caulto anymore. This is preposterous. The
Chinese Communist Party won't let me masturbate is crazy.
Just make it easier to maintain.
Right. Just make it easier to maintain my account. I don't want to play a game. And this goes back to what I said earlier. Of just, I want to maintain my account, not play a game. Gacha games have stopped becoming games, basically. It's just I don't know, a stocks trading account? Like what is this? I am a machine that turns gacha currency into gambling? Like what? Why are you playing a game? You're playing a video game. Don't forget that. You're playing a video game. They're convenience mechanics that make it easier for you to play said video game. Especially in live service games and a lot of grindy games, there are tools to make it easier for you to grind. But whenever events come out that ask you, hey, engage with the gameplay of this event, people are going to be like, it's too hard. It takes too much time. I'm not a fan of the gameplay. And it's like, okay, I mean, that's fair, but I don't know. Games that put gacha first just leave a sour taste in my mouth. Games that have a gacha, look, I maintain the idea that gacha games are inherently predatory, but I much more tolerate gacha games that have gacha as secondary and the game as primary, and it's very obvious which games are which. But again, that's a personal thing because it's very obvious that there are so many people out there who do like gacha first games, and they literally do not give a flying fuck whether or not the gameplay is fun or not, as long as the gacha aspect is fun enough, the characters are hot enough, and the grinding isn't terrible, and they can consistently get that dopamine hit. Then it doesn't really matter whether the gameplay is an idle game, or a management sim, or an action RPG, or a tower defense, or a turn-based game, or an open world game. It's just never about that for these people. For these players, it was never about that. It's a backdrop. That's why these are also the kinds of people who use the most meta units, because they want to get it done as fast as possible. You're not enjoying the gameplay. You just want to get it done as fast as possible and then just fuck off. Play your other gacha games. As he gets
Pay
to
my
here.
account so I can continue to not play the games I've built my entire personality around. Gacha games should do nothing but compete for my attention by replacing every UI element with Subway Surfers and Family Guy funny moments because my childhood cognitive development died the moment my parents decided to raise me with a fucking iPad. Sorry about the attention span, take 3 big booms to make you feel better. Don't even give me a gacha game, just give me a virtual baby playmat instead, where I can hit random objects while shitting my pants and crying about anniversary.
This was so incredibly crazy, by the way. Not getting a free 5-star in look, I understand the norm in gacha games is to give out free units on the anniversary. But as soon as Genshin happened, for some reason, when it comes to AAA games, they got greedy. With the AAA gacha releases ever since Genshin, they just quietly tried to be like, no free character during anniversaries, and that's what you should expect. Even though in basically every successful gacha game that came before Genshin, they gave off free units in the anniversary. It's like they're trying to see how much they can get away with it, of being like, oh, a lot of people's first gacha game is this game. Maybe they won't complain if we don't give them free stuff during the anniversary. It turns out the answer was no. Actually, people were aware of that and they really wanted it. But on the other hand, I'm not fully defending the players on this, because on the other hand, some people were actual whiny babies about it. And it's like, this is a gacha game. If you thought that the developers really did care about you and listen to you to the point where they'll give you free stuff because they love you, we wouldn't be here without you. And it's true. But you're not getting a free 5-star this update, because you get pulls instead. You get the chance. Hey, we'll give you 10 extra chances to get a 5-star. 10 pulls, right? You'll get 10 extra chances to get a 5-star, maybe even 20. Maybe even 20 if you bully us hard enough. Chances at getting the 5-star you want. Yeah, right? Instead of a selector, because they want to squeeze out as much money as possible. They're not going to lose money they're not really gonna lose money if they give up one free 5-star to every player every year, but they will make more money if they didn't. And that's how capitalism works. So we should actually be review bombing capitalism somehow. Yeah, just go to the Play Store, find the capitalism app, and then just give it 1 star. And that's how we fix this.
Anniversary rewards. Because if I'm totally honest with myself, that's all I really want. Not a handcrafted experience by passionate game designers or a fun challenge to overcome. I just want a distraction. Something to keep me occupied so I don't accidentally start contemplating my meaningless existence on this godforsaken earth. Now just take one moment to seriously ask yourself, who is more deranged here? Me for crashing out in a YouTube video for your entertainment, or you for logging into 50 billion gacha games every fucking day that you don't even like playing, while having the audacity to demand every single one of those games respects your time when you don't even respect your own?
Excellent point. There are people out there who just play so many gacha games to the point where they just don't enjoy it anymore. They're literally there to collect all the rewards, and maybe these are the people who just want all the rewards. They don't want to engage in these experiences because it wastes time. I don't have time to do this event. I just want to use, I want to use Wizardel to finish the co-op event because I don't have time for this. I have 5 other gacha games that I need to log into. That's your problem. You have to understand, if you're playing 5, 6 different gacha games, 10 different gacha games, and you feel like you don't have enough time to play all of them to get all the rewards, that's your fault. That's the risk that you took on. The challenge that you took on was, I want to play all these different great games, and as a result, I just end up wanting to get all the rewards instead of actually enjoying the game. And if someone, God forbid, someone actually wanted to enjoy playing the co-op mode in Arknights, they're apparently not allowed to because, oh, I don't have time. I don't have time to play this game. And if I don't finish the event, then I won't get all the rewards. You have to understand. That's why I bring Wizardel. Because I need the rewards. I don't have time. I don't have time to play. So I'm going to ruin your experience. Yeah, no, I know you want to enjoy the game, but it's about me, you see. This isn't about you. The co-op part only refers to me. You're just like the second player. You're who are you, right? I don't know you. You're a stranger. You're not in my life. But in my life, I do know. I don't have time for this, okay? I'll just use Weasel and just blast through every stage, and I'll make it so that the other player can't play, because Weasel just kills everything, right? Because I need the rewards. Sorry. Yeah, you don't respect your own time. Clearly, if you're playing 10 gacha games, you don't respect your own time. Why the fuck are you playing 10 gacha games? I guarantee you, play one good game, one good single-player campaign game, and you'll have a better experience than all those gacha experiences combined. Like, if you play through fucking Expedition 33 for a month, you'll get a cumulative better experience than playing whatever content all those 10 gacha games gave you in that month. Trust me, you'll get a more fulfilling experience. No, but they don't have time to play a full... They don't have time to sit down and play through a single game. It takes a while, right? It takes like 30 hours to finish 30, 50, 60 hours to finish a single player game with that much content. I don't have time for that. Anyway, I gotta log into my 5 different gacha games today. I need to do my daily stuff before they reset.
I don't want Arknights Endfield to be filled with people who don't even want to play Arknights Endfield!
Felt good to get that off my chest.
Definitely.
That interview with Hypergriff I cited earlier from G-Cores ends with this paragraph. Innovation is no longer just a creator's aspiration for their own work. It's something the market increasingly demands. Simply improving production standards is no longer enough to satisfy today's players. So whether you want to or not, if you aim to achieve something in the current market, you must create something that is uniquely yours. On paper, this sounds great. In their own words, they want to innovate and create something unique. But we must not judge merely based on words. We should be judging actions, because actions have consequences.
When will
When
you
scores
learn?
of gacha gamers who don't want good games
your
and just want a
actions have
babysitter are all now suddenly
consequences.
very excited about Enfield's new direction, I find that to be kind of alarming. So I voiced a dissenting opinion.
Right.
What better time to voice that criticism than while the game is still in development,
Yeah.
when it can still make important changes?
You don't want to wait until the game comes out for this.
All that being said, I have cherished Arknights for this long for good reason. I look forward to finding out what they've been doing since the beta, because if they make the right decisions
3
before
6
release,
stars?
then on my life, I will become the world's #1 hypergriff.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Full turbo
Bro's
glaze, no
kicked up.
brakes. I would be delighted to live in that timeline. But until then, I remain patient. When the servers open, I will be there no matter what.
I will also be
Ready
there
to
no
know
matter
life,
what.
Arknights Endfield.
I will
ready
be
to
streaming this
experience
game once
everything
it comes
has to
out.
offer.
So watch out for that.
I just hope I will also be ready to cherish it for years to come.
That's a nice hopeful note to end us off with. Okay, the linked video here is that. Ebby is on here? Yo! I don't know if you can hear that, but a neighbor is drilling somewhere. I'm sorry, it's 6 p.m. You're not supposed to be doing construction work in your rooms after 5. What the fuck? Okay, well, whatever. Great video, fantastic video. Love the crash out section, but also very good points. And it's a really good follow-up video to the one from before, because it just adds so much more points and clarifies some things, responds to some things, and just overall, really productive discussion. I didn't think I would also be talking for as long as I did in the last video, but hey, I'm a serial yapper. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Do let me know what you think in the comment section down below. The last video, like the last Endfield video that we watched, the comment section, you guys were very no, that's not how I start the sentence with. I liked seeing the discussions that popped up in the comments. It was nice, hearing other people's opinions and seeing people of different Arknights experiences coming on, being excited for Endfield. And ultimately, a lot of us are very excited for Endfield, whether we played Arknights or not. And at the end of the day, we all just want the game to be the best it can be, to be something fun for the developers to make, and be something fun for the players to enjoy. Oh, and before I end this video, I did remember getting a comment that was something along the lines of, "Oh, look, another content creator who watched Toboro's video didn't give any constructive criticism and just blindly agreed to what the video was saying." And I was just like, did you watch the video or not? I think everyone who watched the video will tell you that I definitely put a lot of my own inputs, like completely my own inputs. And also, I wasn't blindly listening to this guy. I agreed with him based on my perspective as a game designer. I don't know. I don't know what that guy wanted, but it was funny. I got a laugh out of that. But yeah. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.